Welcome to General Discharge. Our voices are disguised so we can give you secret tips and tricks on just about anything. This video is going to be covering how to get better at running. Running is a staple in fitness and anything having to do with the military, especially special operations training. If you are joining the military, looking to better your run in general, or even pursuing a career in law enforcement, at some point you are going to have to run. Do not fret. If you are just starting to think about running, or are a runner of any experience, this video will either help you out or give you some refreshers, and possibly remind you of the stuff you know you should be doing, but don't. Before we get into it, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate all the support we get, and it does not go unnoticed. If you are already subscribed, thank you for being a part of the team. Progression. A common rule for anybody who is looking to start running or increase their mileage is to ensure you do not do too much too soon. A rule of thumb for an increase in mileage is no more than 10% more than what you did the week prior. So for example, if you ran a total of 5 miles in 1 week, the next week you'd simply add a half mile extra to make a total of 5.5 miles. While that may not seem like much of a difference, that 10% rule adds up quick in the high mileages. 40 miles per week would be 44 the next week, which is a decent jump. Stay patient and trust the system and take your time. You'll get to where you want to be one day or another. The reason why you should take your time in increasing your mileage is so it gives your body time to adapt to the increased stress. Okay, so you know how to increase your mileage, but what do you do with those miles? Well, the answer is, it depends. It depends on what your goals are. If you're looking to work on your 100-meter sprint times, your workouts will be tailored differently than someone who is trying to get faster at their 3-mile Marine Corps PFT time. You must first figure out what your goals are before you start specifically structuring your run workouts. There are a plethora of free, or if you want to spend money, paid workout routines out there, but we will give you basic guidelines so you can easily see what programs would suit you. If you're training for a marathon, you don't run a marathon right off the bat while you train. You build up to it. That should be the approach you have of any distance you're working towards. For those out there who are looking to be a Marine and have no running experience, your 3-mile PFT training regimen should include a bunch of runs of distance like a mile, mile and a half, 2 miles, etc. One way you could approach it would be to do 3 1-mile long intervals with 5 minutes rest in between each interval, trying to maintain the pace of what your goal is on your actual 3-mile test. The better you get at running, the less rest you'll need between each interval. And in theory, over time you should be able to just run 3 miles in one go at the time you want. This goes without saying, but if you're a more experienced runner who is just looking to improve their 3-mile time and is perfectly capable of running long distances at a fast pace, try to tailor a majority of your running regimen to paces you are trying to get in your 3-mile run. Just because you're super fast relative to a 6-mile run pace does not mean you'll be relatively successful in the 3-mile field. Or if you're training for your 1.5 mile time, like in a PST, it would be more appropriate to have intervals of 1/4 miles, half miles, or even 3/4 miles. A good building block on how to build your interval workouts can be found on the Navy SEAL Physical Training Guide on the SEALSWIC.com website. A bunch of professionals put together the PTG for the Navy SEAL and SWIC candidates to train off of. Take a look at it, as it is a free resource. We will leave a link in the description for you. Regimens. We've mentioned the MARSOC Prep Guide in previous videos, which in addition to calisthenics and swimming, has a run progression. The run protocol addresses improving the 3-mile timed run for the Marine Corps PFT. For the 3-mile PFT or 2-mile APFT, Stu Smith took the 4-mile workout approach commonly used by athletes who run 5K or 10K races. An example would be to jog a mile for a warm-up and then run 3 sets of 1/4 mile sprints with jogging a 1/4 mile in 1 minute and 45 seconds in between. Or you can do 6 sets of an 1/8 mile sprint with an 1/8 mile jog of 1 minute in between. Do this workout without walking to rest. The only rest you will receive is during your slower jogging pace. Try to catch your breath while you jog. Have fun with this one. It is tough. Another good speed workout is called repeats. Simply run a certain distance as fast as you can a specified number of times. This time you get to walk to recover and catch your breath before the next sprint. You can try one of the following distances for a challenging workout. Mile repeats would be 1 mile times 4, or you can do half-mile repeats 6 times, or 1/4 mile repeats times 12. 1/8 mile repeats times 16. Walk half the distance you run as your rest. There's also sprint jogs. 50-yard sprint, 50-yard jog for 10, 20, or 30 minutes. Another example of a sprint jog or fartlek, which as far as I know is Bugala for speed play. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's Polish, but anyway. Another example of a fartlek would be 4 miles total, sprint the straightaways and jog the turns. 4 miles of jogging the first 3/4 of each lap while sprinting the last 100 meters. Nick Kumulatos, a former recon Marine and Marine Raider, who's now an author and social media influencer, has also created prep programs for both recon and MARSOC that he describes as being based on scientifically back-planning the physical requirements for both pipelines and using a building block approach unique to those respective pipelines. That being said, the protocols in either program will address both running and rucking. We will be doing videos in the future more in depth on the recon training prep guide. Another technique, which came from a mentor who was the captain of his college marathon team, is establishing a routine based on variation and consistency. The program is less about specifics and more about improving both speed and endurance by running 5 or 6 days a week, using a different style of workout each day that you run. So Monday might be a trail run with elevation changes. Tuesday could be intervals. Wednesday a tempo run or PST pace run. Thursday a long slow jog, and Friday could be hill sprints followed by taking the weekends off. As you can see, it's more based on the principles of running frequently with lots of variation and less about one specific style of running. Long distance runs. It's always good to get some long distance running into your routine no matter what the goal. It helps strengthen your bone density and gets your body used to the mileage it will be enduring in whatever training you find yourself getting into. These runs are called LSD runs. And no, you're not high on acid while you're running. LSD stands for long, slow distance. These runs should be longer in comparison to other running workouts you have in your routine, and you should run at a pace where you can comfortably have a conversation with someone if they were to be running next to you. So for a little bit more detail on that, you should be able to say 1 or 2 sentences without absolutely regretting it and having to catch your breath and have it impair your pace. Aim to have at least 1 of these runs in your workout regimen per week. More advanced runners may elect to have 2 of these if they're feeling frisky. Effort. You need to make sure that you try to increase your pace every week, or at the very least every other week, to get your cardiovascular endurance up. You will plateau if you run the same pace at the same distance, workout after workout. I know it sucks, but you have to make sure you feel like you gave it 100% all the time. That 100% feeling may happen your first week at an 8-minute mile pace, but 4 weeks down the road, you may need to get that feeling again with a 7-minute mile because your 8-minute pace that used to destroy you now feels like a breeze. It honestly is amazing how your body can adapt to running. You just have to keep doing it or you lose it, or not. Some of you mofos out there cannot run for weeks and jump right back into it. Must be nice. Breathing. Breathing is an important aspect of running and can have a huge impact on performance. Try to keep a consistent breathing pattern by timing your inhalation and exhalation off of your steps. For example, you'll breathe in for a right, left, then breathe out for a right, left. Maybe 3 instead of 4 steps is better for you. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth so that your body can best filter and humidify the air that you are breathing in. A common mistake is getting air hungry and not exhaling long enough to make sure you're taking in good deep breaths instead of short choppy breathing. Nutrition. Make sure to be eating properly before and after your running workouts. It is best to do what is known as carb loading before long runs the night before. Carb loading is exactly what it sounds like. You simply eat foods that are rich in carbohydrates so you have the fuel to sustain your body through whatever you're going to be doing the next day. For even longer runs, bring some gummies or goo packs. We're not here to be giving you a diet plan, but don't eat like crap. You will definitely get better at running faster and eating healthier than if you chow down on Twinkies and Mountain Dew all the time. Your workouts will also be more efficient too because you will have the proper energy to be able to perform at your full potential. The last thing we will say on how you can get better at running is by lifting weights. We're not telling you to go become bodybuilders, but strength training and weightlifting is a great addition to any athlete's training program. There are lots of sciencey related explanations as to why weightlifting is vital for runners, and we will leave some links in the description that discuss why you should add it to your program and make you a better runner. This concludes our recommendations on how to improve your running. We at General Discharge appreciate your support and hope to see you next time. Let us know what you would like to see next. Thanks for watching. All your friends are subscribing to General Discharge, and you don't even want to be here.